Oh man, this is a good question. Sony E mount versus FE mount. Yeah, it's confusing. It really is confusing. Let's talk. What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. This is LD Photo, part of the Lifestyles Defined group. And on this channel, we have interesting conversations about our passion, which is photography. And this particular video is an AMA. Ask me anything. Today's question comes from viewer Henry Yonarto. Hi, I'm quite confused about the lenses the A7 Mark II and the A6500 use. Do they use the same mount? Can the lenses that fit on the A6500 work on the A7 Mark II? Well, I'll tell you what. This is a very interesting question, and I know there's a bunch of confusion out there about this. And I think it's relatively easy to run into this confusion because when you buy a full frame camera, A7, any of one of them, A7 II, A7 III, A7S, and you see the prices of those full frame lenses, you go, whoa, hold on. I need something cheaper. And then, of course, you run into lenses that go on the A6000 series, the 6000, 63, 6500. You're like, well, what about this? What's wrong with this? I don't need no pro lens. I got the pro camera. Let me get this. And then you get into this funny area where you could just be wasting your money and you got to take it back and you're wasting your time, yada, yada, yada. So let me try to explain this to you as best I can. Sony is with their digital cameras, I guess it's the NEX series, the A series, the A65, the A6000 series, the A7000 series, and the A9. I think the A9, yes. They use what's called the E mount. And from everything I've read, the E mount stands for the electric mount. And that mount is it's literally just the way the lens screws into the camera. It's the way they design the mechanism to catch. That's all the mount is. That's all the mount is, right? Of course, there's some electrics in there and whatnot that controls the lens. But for the sake of simplicity, that's what the mount is. Now, there's two different types of E-mount lenses. There's regular E-mount lenses, and then there's FE mount lenses. Regular E-mount lenses belong to the smaller APS-C cameras. APS-C would be the sensor. And FE lenses belong to the larger cameras, the A7s and the A9, which is the full frame. So you get full frame E-mount lens. That's what that stands for. I think it's super easy to understand from here, but the confusion comes about, well, can they actually work? Now, you can take a full frame, wait, hang on a second, let me get it right in my mind because it's something I've done and I continue to screw it up when people ask me. You can take a E-mount lens, right? And you can put it on a full frame camera and it'll work. But you can't take a full frame lens. You can't take a FE mount lens and put it on an E mount camera. And this has everything to do with the size of the sensor. So if you look at an APS-C sensor, let's just say it's this big, right? It's this big. This is your APS-C sensor. You want to look at a full frame, it's this big. So what we're saying here is when you take a lens that was designed to work on the smaller sensor, not only does that lens screw onto the smaller sensor, but when you put it on the bigger full frame, those cameras have a mode where it sort of turns off the outside part of the sensor. So it kind of crops in to allow a 1-to-1 ratio that you can now use that lens. So if you you take the A7 Mark II, that is a 24 megapixel camera. And if you put the smaller E-mount lenses on those guys, in order to crop it to have it work, or what they call APS-C mode, I think it takes it down to like 16 megapixels, or is it 12? Somewhere around there. But it decreases the megapixel count and you can use it, whatever. But you can't take a lens that was designed this big and put it on a sensor this small, because the lens is there's so much more space left that's not being used on the lens, and the sensor, you could never magically double the size of your sensor. So it just doesn't work that way. I mean, the best way for you to figure this out, take your camera down to Best Buy or your local store or whatever, and put the lenses on. You'll see it's difficult to explain. It's confusing to explain. It's confusing to think about. But the minute you do it, you get it. You go, okay. So if you have an A6500, take it down to Best Buy. Say, hey, give me that 50 mil. Give me the 50 mil for the A6000 or 6500, whatever. And then give me the FE 50 mil and put them on. And you'll see everything's okay. And then if there is an A7 there, do the same thing. And then you'll sort of be like, so this works, but that works, but that doesn't work. And you'll have to sit there for a second going, this works, but this doesn't work. Why? And then it'll just click. Just remember the sensor size. That's all it is. So I hope I answered your question appropriately. I know it's super confusing. This one caught me a while too. So be careful out there, because you don't want to waste your time and buy something that won't work. Because you didn't tell me which camera you have, so I can't make the distinction for you. But hopefully you get the gist of the video. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel. We got plenty more coming. And if you're so kind, you could share it with a friend. We'd be happy for the exposure. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. Well, I guess. And the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just